My name is Richard Casper. I'm a Marine Corps veteran, and I teach the course here at the School of the Art Institute of Chicago. This program started basically because after my injuries in war, I didn't know how to deal with myself. I came back, had a brain injury, my best friend was shot and killed. I didn't know myself at that point. Art has helped me by giving me a chance to have a voice again. I used to not be able to leave my house. I couldn't go talk to people. I would physically throw up and get sick. If you could be 0%, that's committing suicide, 100% being the best you can be. After the Marine Corps, after being injured, I was at probably like a 9 or a 10. And after this school, I was back to like 85% me. For people who may struggle like I did and didn't want to break out of the house and be like, I'm not sure if this is going to work, I just want them to know my story and be able to come out here and learn with other combat vets how to do art. And if they're looking for one more way, if they just come out here and give me a chance, it's going to be worth it.
What we were aiming for is to express what we were dealing with, when we were deployed and during our military career, where we literally get out of our element, go on this kind of like alternate reality to go back in time, think about what we went through, and express it to other people.
Just being exposed to different concepts of art, like at the museum and some of the contemporary art we saw, that's what influenced me to try doing a performance piece for my last project.
The opportunity to be at the school was just phenomenal. It was amazing. At lunch, we could go and wander the halls of the museums, and that was pretty awesome.
I think the hardest part was actually talking about what I've been through. It was easy talking to Richard because he is a combat veteran and he has been through stuff I've been through. And
my job was to, go find IEDs or find landmines or anti-personnel landmines and take them apart. And little did I know, I was putting that stuff inside me.
At first, it's a little hard to let yourself become vulnerable. You won't really know what to do right away. It takes a couple days. I know for me, it took a week.
Being surrounded by a bunch of veterans that know what combat feels like, knows the after effects of combat, knows how it feels to come home. It was really comfortable being here.
They're going to come to class like normal college students, treated like normal people that know how to be like, I can be in college, I am a normal person, and I could live like everybody else lives. If even one of them chose to go to college and study art and has that artist brain to where it saved them, it's totally worth it.
Hi, how is everyone? I'm MrsOEF 5, and today we're going to work on a couple of different breathing exercises. And hey, Mr. 2, how are you? And we're going to make some keychains that give us something to hold on to, so that as you're going through those breathing exercises, you have a tangible thing in your hand that you can work with that helps you with those counts, okay? We're going to work on a couple of them, and I would like to warn you about Beta the streamer cat, because he's right here on my desk. So I stream live on Mixer as MrsOEF 5. And I do have a black cat that is a complete nuisance, so he may interrupt us. And if he does, hopefully you enjoy that. And if not, then I apologize. But it happens sometimes. So, all right, so I'm ready to get started if you guys are. So we're going to scoot over here to my little workstation and start talking about how to put these together, okay? All right. So from last week, we had a couple little issues where people couldn't hear me. So hopefully it sounds good. Hopefully we have that problem solved. I am going to pull you guys up on Mixer here real quick, just so I can see what's going on from here. thanks for the embers. That's fabulous. I appreciate that. All right. So I went ahead and made up a little one, just real simple, right? And I kind of wanted to have this done before I brought you in, just so that you knew what we were talking about, right? So if any of you have some wire, little keychain of some sort, right? Can be any kind. You pull one off of your ring that you have. I've even got some little gold ones here. Then you can make this right along with me, because they're very, very simple to make, right? But first I kind of wanted to demonstrate the concept before we get started actually making them. So there's two types of breathing exercises that are effective, whether you're experiencing anxiety or you're triggered, right? Once that heart rate elevates a little bit, whether that's because of anger or fear or any big emotion, right? Anything that makes you tense up and you get nervous. So there's some really simple, there's two breathing exercises that I personally use and I prefer. One of them is called box breathing. So box breathing is used by the SEALs a lot. So some of you may be familiar with that. And it's 4 points, right? So we've got 4 points on this little keychain. So you breathe in for 4 counts, you hold it for 4 counts, you breathe out for 4 counts, you hold for 4 counts, and then you repeat. Usually about 3 times, okay? So what this type of breathing does for you is it slows everything down. It forces you to just slow down for a minute, get your heart rate under control, calm a little bit, and kind of reset your brain so that you can be present where you are, right? So if you're in a stressful situation to you, or you just need to breathe throughout your day, you're just annoyed, right? Whatever reason, this is helpful, excuse me, because it's just a quick exercise and you can do it and no one around you is going to know you're going to do it. It's not obvious that you're actively breathing or having a moment, right? So I appreciate all the hosts, y'all. That's great. I know I've missed about 4 of them, but I appreciate you. So it works like this, okay? We're going to breathe in for 4. So I'm holding on to one of these beads, right? And I'm going to count to 4. So then hold. Breathe out. Hold. And then repeat. That simple. So you don't actually have to do this count. I'm just trying because I can't count out loud and breathe at the same time. It's a little awkward. So the nice thing about having this on your keychain is, one, it reminds you to take that moment for yourself, right? It's present all the time. It's on your keys. You've always got it with you. And the other nice thing about it is that you can twist this, you can fidget with it, you can touch it. It's tangible, right? So a lot of times when we're upset, we disconnect, right? You get a loop in your head of whatever it is that has upset you, or you get caught up in the emotion in the moment. And having something tangible that you can touch while you're breathing and counting helps your brain to process, right? So again, we're going to breathe in for 4, breathe in, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, and then hold for 4, right? So here we go. Just like that. That simple. So if I'm in my office or if I'm around a lot of people, it's going to look more like this. That's it. Simple. You do this 3 times in a row and your heart rate's actually going to slow. Excuse me. You do it too many times in a row and you'll get dizzy. You'll get lightheaded. You're literally pushing oxygen to your brain, right? Oh, wonderful. Thank you so much, Outlaw. Appreciate you. So that's the idea here. The second type of breathing is diaphragmatic breathing, okay? And that's a little deeper. So with that one, we're going to breathe in 4 the exact same way. We're going to hold for a count of 7, and then we're going to breathe out for a count of 8. And when we go to make our little keychain, we will have your 4, your 7, and your 8, right? And we'll count these out so that it's right. So that you can actually go down a whole string, much like if you've ever used a prayer bead bracelet or a rosary, something like that, you'll work it just like that, right? So this breathing may be difficult for some people. If you're asthmatic, if you have trouble holding your breath for that long or anything like that, don't do it. Do the box breathing. That's why we have 2 different ones. But diaphragmatic breathing is a little bit different in that we are going to really engage our stomachs, okay? So I'm going to back up a little bit so that you can see me, right? So I'm going to breathe in 4, I'm going to hold for 7, and I'm going to breathe out for 8. And while I do that, I want my stomach to rise. So I'm not breathing shallow, I'm breathing down here, right? I really want my stomach to rise. So the best way to assure that you're doing that as you're learning, and I hope I don't hit my mic. If I do, I apologize, is to put your hands like this and feel your breathing, right? So 4 in. 7 hold, 8 out. So if you can see my hands, right, when I breathe in, it's a big breath, right? So it's impacting this area, and I hope that you guys can see that. When I breathe out, because it's that 8 count, you're going to see this come in further, right? So it's, and I'm expelling as much of that bad air as I can so that I can bring in really good fresh air and reduce that heart rate. So it's great for stress release, right? And it's a great thing to use just all day, every day. I use these exercises without even thinking about them all the time, right? It's just a daily thing for me. If somebody's at the copier taking forever, I'm slightly annoyed, I breathe. It doesn't even take anything to make me want to do it at this point. So this little keychain for box breathing, let's go ahead and put one of these together real quick. I'm going to show you how we can do that. All right. So we're going to take a little piece of wire. I'm not going to be real precise on my measurements, but it's going to be about 1 foot long. Okay. Now I've got these nice heavy stones, right? And I'm just going to slide 4 of them on here. Just put them somewhere in the middle. I'm going to bend this into kind of a diamond shape. Is anybody working along with me? You want me to slow down? Because if I'm going too fast or you need me to repeat something, please speak up, right? You guys are more than welcome to talk through this. This should be interactive. And tell me what you think. And tell me what you don't like. Tell me what you do. So we're going to shape this into a little square type shape, a diamond shape. Then you're going to take this wire this longer one, but it's the one that lays on top, okay? If at home you don't have round nose pliers like this, you could use needle nose. They're probably going to leave a couple little marks in your wire, but it's okay.
You're doing great.
Thanks, Outlaw. So, I'm just going to wrap this around here. And I'm going to make my first loop, right? Can you guys see that? I'm going to zoom in with this camera a little bit. So you can see this loop better. Yeah, you can see that. So it's just a loop, right? It's kind of like a teardrop. Put my pliers inside this loop, and I'm going to push that wire until it bends back down on itself so I can continue and make a second one. So that it meets the first wire. So think of it like a little spring, right? There's two little loops here, and it comes back and meets this first wire. And I want these further, I want these closer to that than when I have them. So we're just going to adjust these real quick because I want this pretty close. We're just going to bend them back through. All right. So at the point that this wire touches the other one, I put my needle nose pliers through those holes and wrap it around the straight. I don't want it wrapped very tight at first because I don't want to bend the wire. And I'm just going to wrap it around there twice. So that it looks like this. I'm going to try and get this to focus for you guys so you can see it real quick. See what that looks like? All right. So then this piece, I'm going to pull back over, and where I wrapped that right on the top, where we still have this little gap here, I'm going to wrap this around the bottom. Actually, you know what? Before I start that, I'm going to cut this piece of wire off because it's going to get in my way. So we're going to wrap this underneath here, and I'm going to have to come through the inside of this square. So it's a little bit awkward, but we'll get there. I saw.
Okay, you saw?
Mm-hmm.
The overlay is right over where you're working to.
I saw.
Sorry.
It's all right.
Technical tips, chat.
That is OEF 5 Outlaw. My name and his comes from Operation Enduring Freedom 5. He was in the 5th rotation of troops to go to Afghanistan. And he is my husband of almost 30 years. He's super excited about me doing this with y'all, and so am I. I just can't even tell you how happy I am for the opportunity to be able to share some of this with you. I have volunteered for a lot of veterans organizations, because my husband obviously is a vet, so we're connected through them. But more than that, my brain works like a lot of veterans' brains do, in that I was diagnosed with PTSD in 2003. My story, though it's not a military one, has a lot of the same features. So I understand. Hey. So I understand what that feels like on a daily basis. I understand the struggle there. So I find myself surrounded with veterans a lot because we understand each other, right? Like follows like. So I was really excited about the opportunity to work with CreatiVets. It's an absolutely amazing organization. And any opportunity I have to support organizations like this, I want to take, because I really believe in it. And I'm hoping that as I stream with you guys, there'll be some things that you enjoy and some things that help you out. There's a lot of different ways to tell your stories. There's a lot of different ways to find calm in your own mind and to work through whatever's going on in your life, big or small. And for me, this is part of it. Working with these types of things is very relaxing for me. And it helps me to think. I can process and get clear when my hands are busy. So it helps. Which is one of the reasons why having one of these keychains, when you do breathing exercises, I think helps. You have something tangible, right? Hi, Lady Brittany, thank you. This is my daughter. I have a daughter that's a retired vet as well. This is her older sister. This is going to be family hour at CreatiVets today, I guess. You guys are going to meet everybody. So there's our keychain, right? Super simple. 4-point breathing. And so for those, I know that we've had more people join since I went through it the first time. I'm going to go ahead and repeat what that box breathing technique is, okay? Hey, Sergeant Squid, thank you so much for joining us. I'm so glad you're here. So these little stones, right? We're going to count them around as we do our box breathing. So again, box breathing is 4 in. We hold our breath for a count of 4. We breathe out for a count of 4 and hold again, right? So 4, 4, 4, and 4 around the box. Well, that's awesome. I'm glad you're here, Squid. We're just working on some breathing exercises. So let's go ahead and do this one real quick. Excuse me, I'm so sorry. I need to grab my drink. But we're going to breathe first. Okay. So 4 in. So, again, it doesn't have to be this outward, right? You can be much more discreet about it. So, in real time, thanks. In real time, right? You're at work, you're at families, whatever, and you need to take a breath. You've got your keychain on you. That's why this is handy on a keychain. But you can, you can put it on anything, a lanyard, whatever. This is what it actually looks like when you're not doing a full finger count, and I'm not exaggerating my breathing, okay? So this is what it looks like. Just like that. So nobody really knows what I'm doing. It just looks like a sigh, right? You can do this all day long. Anytime something bothers you, anytime you feel your heart rate accelerate. If you do have PTSD and you have a moment where you're really struggling with it, where you're lost in that loop or you're lost in that memory, having something tangible in your hand, being able to breathe through and focus on where am I now is extremely helpful, right? For me personally, anyway, not a clinician, not a licensed therapist. Me personally, this is something that I use because I am forced to realize this is where I am right now. I am here breathing right now, and it's okay. So it helps me to get through that hump much faster. I don't get locked in that loop for hours or days. And it takes practice, right? But I find that it's a great tool. So the second type of breathing, diaphragmatic breathing, we're going to make a larger keychain for that. So I'm going to cut some wire here, right? And we're going to do 4, 7, and 8. This is going to be huge, guys. Like, I think that's probably too huge. I'm 100% convinced this is too huge. This is gigantic. We may have to use smaller beads. I love these stones though. They're agate. Even if I put them like this, we're going to need smaller beads for this one. So, let's do, can you see all, you guys can't see all this, can you? Let's do this. I think what I'd like to do is get some of these little placer beads, and we're going to do this like this, right? So we've got 4, 7, 8, and then we're going to put some little placer beads between them. And I'm just digging around here in my little box to see which ones I think I would like. You know what? Maybe we'll do this. Maybe we'll do this. I think we'll use these. These are little matte jasper and some faceted amber stones. What's the twitch? Oh, thank you, Outlaw. Yeah, so right now, some people are watching me on Mixer, some people are watching me on Twitch, some are on Facebook Live, and YouTube Live. So when I stream, and CreatiVets has a full schedule. I'll show it to you at the end of this stream. They've got several really, really talented people. I stream every Thursday at the same time. So this time every week you can catch me. And again, my name is MrsOEF 5. I normally stream on Mixer, but Thursdays are my CreatiVets day. So I'm just going to cut some of this wire. cut in 3 little pieces here. And I'm going to run this through. Well, I'm not going to run this through. We're going to see if this is long enough. And I may have to put my glasses on here to do it. So I'm just going to take this around, make a little circle, pull it back so it's straight. Make sure I've got a really good connection here so that nothing falls apart. I'm going to run through this first bead and this second bead, and then I'm going to make another loop. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put 3 on there. I like how that looks better. Then I'm going to just make another loop, bring that back around so that we've got a way to connect these. I'm going to tell you right now, this is not the normal wire that I work with, and I am not happy with it. But it's okay. We're going to go with what we got, right? And do the same thing again. And put 2 of these on here. Trim this up a little bit. I just shot that all the way across my room. Did y'all hear it? If you would like to, if you are on Mixer and you would like to host this channel, there are 3 dots down towards the bottom of the screen where you see me. If you click on those 3 dots, a host option will pop up and you can host. Hey, Awesome Ketchup, thanks for the sparks. Love the support, man. It's awesome. It's Awesome Ketchup. There you go, you got it. Thank you. So we're going to put this last one on, same process obviously. I'm going to snip this off and send it cascading across my room once again. Yep, hit the window. It's okay, it's why I have a studio. I can be messy if I want to be. Oh, thank you for the support. I am hoping that as we go through this process, more veterans will be able to join us. Since we're all kind of secluded, you know, the more supports we have, the better, right? And it's great to be able to get together, even when we can't do that face to face. Yeah, I shot it all the way across the studio. So I'm going to connect these with jump rings. Just like this. Connect these. Hey, 100 embers. Thank you so much. Guys, you know when, if you're on Mixer anyway, when you give embers, it goes directly to CreatiVets and helps to make more streams just like this one. Which is awesome. So I'm going to put this on a jump ring. I'm going to put this on a little keychain. And we're going to close this up. Right? The wire is like the rainbow star gone from me shooting it across the room. All right, so here's this little keychain. Doesn't have to look like it's therapeutic, right? It can just look like a regular old keychain. Super simple. And you can make them any way you want. The idea is just that we have something to put our fingers on to count, right? So let's do diaphragmatic breathing. I'm gonna scoot back a little bit and demonstrate to you this 4-7-8 technique, right? Which is called diaphragmatic breathing, which means I'm engaging down here. Okay, I'm not breathing shallow. I am going to take a drink before I start this one. So, best way to gauge how well you're doing with your breathing, put your hand on your chest and your stomach, and I'd love it if you all do this with me, right? You want your stomach to rise. You want to feel that breath all the way down here, right? So diaphragm, diaphragmatic breathing. And we're going to do 4-7-8. I'm going to hold my hands here so you guys can see it, and then I'm going to grab that keychain and we're going to do it again, okay? So 4 in, I'm going to hold for 7, and then I'm going to breathe out for a count of 8. Okay, so here we go. So there's 1. Normally I want to do this 3 times, but you'll notice when I breathe in, see this move, right? So it's not a little breath, it's not where just my chest moves. I'm really breathing in. And then I'm really going to expel everything I have because I want to bring clean oxygen in so that oxygen's going straight to my brain so I can get some clarity, right? So while I've got the keychain, it's going to go like this. Just like that. Simple, quiet, and it really helps to calm everything down. So I like to use the keychains or something, right, to work like that. Now another option is that you can do this exact same technique and make a bracelet, right, where you've got 4 of one color, 7 of another color, 8 of another, so that you don't have to remember that it's 4-7-8, right? You just hold as you get through one color, and you breathe out as you get through the next one. You breathe in as you get to the next one, right? All the way through the bracelet. So I would like to take the time to make one of those right now. So I'm going to set this up here. And I'm going to grab some lighter weight wire that's better for bracelets. It's just behind me.
Hang on. Where's your mixer at? Because it froze on me downstairs.
Okay, hang on just a minute, guys. What are you doing? Stop.
Just keep going.
It's already up. It's right there. Okay.
Just in case it's not.
Okay. So, if you can see and hear me, say something in chat real quick.
Where's CreatiVets up? Is it good?
Okay.
Like everything on mine locked up, like Twitch, everything. So it might be my computer.
It may be.
I just want to make sure nothing happened. I'm sorry. Didn't
It's
mean
okay.
to derail.
It's okay.
Are they still talking to you?
Nobody's responded. I'm gonna go ahead and restart OBS, you guys,
Hang on.
and just
Let me
make
text-
sure.
Let me text Lady Brittany.
Just make sure that we're still going. Okay. You guys see me over here?
What are you doing in my hunting box?
Yeah? So you can still see me. It's okay, Squid. All right. So I appear to still be live from everything that I'm looking at. Maybe. Okay. All right. Okay. Here I am. I'm going to grab some wire to make a quick bracelet, and we're going to show you what that looks like, okay? So I'm going to grab some wire and some crimp beads and probably a clasp. And we're going to show you what this looks like. So with a bracelet, let's see if I could actually use these or if this is going to be too long. This is going to be too long, I'm pretty sure, because these are great big. You can see and hear me. Hi, Brownie. I'm so glad. I was worried about it for a minute. Yeah, this is going to be way too big. So, I'm going to pick out something else real quick. And I think we're going to go with these. And these little guys right here. I said thank you. I love this shirt. I bought this shirt on a trip in Georgia. And it makes me happy. And everybody needs happy thoughts today, right? Everybody needs happy thoughts. It's okay to have a happy thought shirt, right? If you need it. So I needed an extra happy thought today, so I wore a happy thought shirt. All right. Oh, do I? That's funny. I'm gonna zoom you back out so you can see me without the overlay. Okay, so with the bracelet, we're gonna take some beading wire. This is 30 gauge, really, really thin, very flexible, so it lays on the wrist nice. I'm just gonna cut off a piece of it. I have a bad habit of not measuring anything, just want you to know. Bracelets should be around 7 to 8 inches, depending on the size of your wrist. Excuse me. I usually cut about 1 foot just to make sure that I've got room. So here's what we're going to do. So we have a breathing technique that is 4, 7, and 8, right? So we're going to put a marker that lets us know when to stop, when to start, when to do the next one, right? Yeah, I'm streaming until 6. I don't think CreatiVets has anybody on the schedule after me, so I know that I can go a little bit longer, but I'm not sure if we will. It depends on what everybody needs. And if we've got some people that come in late, I'm happy to repeat the breathing exercises and do that for them. So I'm just going to tape up the end of this so that I can hold and not lose all my beads, right? I'm going to pop one of these on here. And I think if we do these, let's see, let's measure this out. If we do these, there's 7. And there's 8. If I can get these to lay down right. Let's see. It's going to be pretty close. So I like that. So we're going to lay these little beads down here, and this is going to be our count, right? So we're going to put 4 of them on. And then we've got our spacer bead. It's going to tell us when to stop. And then we're going to bead for 7. Oh, thank you. All right, then we're going to put that next little spacer bead on there. And then we're going to do 8. Yep, tape stops everything from falling right off the other end. That way I don't have to redo this more than once. Hi, Dark Golden Soul, how are you? Welcome to the stream. We are working on, right now we're making a little bracelet that we can use as a count for some breathing exercises. We made a couple little keychains up here for a breathing exercise called box breathing. And now we're going to make this little bracelet for a breathing exercise called diaphragmatic breathing. So, best way to know if a bracelet's going to fit is to pull it around your wrist and look at it. Right? So this one's going to need some more spacing, which is fine because we breathe in, we hold, we breathe out, we breathe in. Right? So, it's going to look just like this. I'm going to pop a little crimp bead on it to keep these together. And then we're going to put a little clasp on it. Actually, I think I'm going to put a big clasp on it, just so that it's easier to grab. So, I'm going to run my wire through this tiny little crimp tube. I'm going to loop the wire back in on itself and through the crimp tube. Very hard to see. So, I'm going to run this little guy that's part of my clasp to the inside of that, run this back through the crimp tube so that it makes a loop. Don't want it to be right up against that metal. I don't want this to stand up. I want it to move so that it's easy for me to get on. But I don't want that crimp bead too far away because I don't want to create a weak point in the wire. And these are little crimping pliers. So it crimps that twice. That metal bites down on that wire and holds that in place. With diaphragmatic breathing, okay, you're going to, I'm going to demonstrate it in just a second. So you're going to breathe in, you're going to hold for 7, you're going to breathe out for 8, and then there's not another hold, okay, meaning you take that as one big cleansing breath and stop. And then you can do it again, but there's not a counted hold after you breathe out. With box breathing, there is. With box breathing, it is breathe in for 4, hold for 4, breathe out for 4, hold for 4, breathe in. You're going to continue doing it. With diaphragmatic breathing, you really want to do this once, maybe twice, but you do not want to stand there and do it over and over and over again because eventually you'll faint. Like you're just literally going to shove so much oxygen into your brain that you'll pass out. So it's a great breathing technique. It's just not one that you're going to do over and over. So there is a difference between the two. One of them is helping you breathe much deeper than normal. Right? One deep, calming breath. The other is a series. So it's much shorter. That's why the count on box breathing is 4, 4, 4, 4. And the count on diaphragmatic breathing is 4, 7, and then 8, right? It's a much deeper breath. And it's really going to come down to your personal preference. They can be used for several different things. We now have a finished little bracelet. Thank you. So you put this on your wrist. When you need to take a breath, you can take it off your wrist and literally count through each of these beads, right? Or you can leave it on your breath and leave it on your wrist and do it. Yeah, I can. If you'd like me to make a set for you, I can do that. Yes, Dark Golden Soul is my daughter that served in the Army. So she's here to learn breathing techniques tonight. So let's go over this one, okay? Diaphragmatic breathing, right? So you want your stomach to move, remember? So let's do the count. You guys see my fingers as I count? This is breathe in, this is hold, this is breathe out. I have it backwards. This is breathe in, this is hold, this is breathe out, right? So here we go. Just like that, right? So if I'm not demonstrating this and I'm just sitting, or I'm standing, or I'm in public, right? I can just like that. Nobody needs to know what I'm doing, but I've taken a really nice cleansing breath. I've cleared my mind a little bit. I can process a little better and can continue with whatever conversation I'm having or whatever I'm doing. I'm sorry. So the nice thing about having something tangible is it anchors you to now, right? It helps you to realize that you are here now, which is very helpful. Having that count available so that when you're upset, you don't have to think about it. You're just touching each bead and going all the way through. Makes it much easier too. So box breathing. So we have new people. 4 in, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4, and repeat, right? So we may want to do that 4 times, may want to do that 3 times. So it looks like this. And I've done 1 round. MrsOEF would be the 3rd daughter. These are the other 2. I have 3 daughters. I thought you meant wait 1 second on this. I was like, is that not working for you? Okay, so I want you guys to breathe with me. I want you to do box breathing with me, okay? So on your screens, you can just type a period, an A, a whatever letter, okay? But on your screen, as you're doing this, I want you to hit, don't hit return, right? Just hit it, 4, and then a space, and then 4, and a space, and 4, and a space, and 4, okay? Are you guys with me? So you're going to type this as you breathe with me. Is everybody ready? Give me a thumbs up if you're ready to breathe with me. Okay. So, here we go. So there we go. We've done the whole thing. Whoever breathed with me, hit return. Let's see your 4, 4, 4, 4. Okay, so you guys ready to take a breath and do diaphragmatic breathing? Okay, so diaphragmatic breathing, for those of you that may be pregnant, is going to be difficult. All right? So here we go. So there you go. That was a quick one. You take your time and go slow and count each of those as a second. Good job, you guys. The better that's going to feel. So before you do something that makes you nervous, if you know that you have anxiety about something and you have to deal with it in that day, it's a great way to kind of just prepare yourself, right? Get that clean air in, get that oxygen to your brain so that you're fully processing and you can be present. If you hit a road bump during the day and it's hard, then you've got something that you can just work through, right? Thanks, you guys. Yeah, right? Let's take a breath together. It's a good thing. So if you can't make these yourselves, I am happy to make them for you. I do have an Etsy store. I can throw them up there. And for CreatiVets, I am happy to put them up there for nothing but shipping. Right? So I'll donate them. And I will figure out exactly how to do that. So those will be up next week. Were you about to pop, Squid? Did you forget to let it go? Did you just hold all that in and forget to let it go? So that's the concept, right? So can you guys think of any instances? Give me examples of when you might use something like this. I'm going to make another one of these little bracelets while we talk. When do you think you'd have to use some kind of breathing like this? Hey, G said, thanks for the host. I appreciate it. Hospitals. Okay, so before you have to go in for an appointment, before you go to the VA, I can see how that would be helpful, or any hospital. Did we get a donation and I can't see it? I didn't get to see the little thing pop up. Yeah. Places where there's a lot of people, right? Yeah, nice thing about if you're in a crowded space doing an exercise like this is you can do it before you walk in. You can do it the whole time you're there, right? I mean, you're not going to want to do it the whole time you're there, but at any moment that you're like, oh, this is really bothering me. Yeah, right? So before you get in front of other people, it's a good example. Or you know you're going to be talking to a room full of people. Anytime there's a crowd, obviously people are a problem. So for me, a lot of times, this is something I do mid-conversation, right? Somebody asks me a question I'm not that sure about, I need to think through, I need to process for a second. If I'm talking about a tense subject, something I'm uncomfortable with, I need to collect my thoughts. I'll pause and breathe. Oh, thank you. Yeah, right? People have lots of different coping mechanisms. It's nice to have one that moves with you no matter where you're at, right? That works in any situation. Breathing exercises, it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter what you're doing. You can always take a moment to breathe. Oh, thanks for the sparks. Yeah, people make things difficult. Definitely, people make things difficult. So I think for this one, let's count these out. We've got 8, we've got 7, we've got 4. And I think for this one, just for clarity's sake, because I think it needs some more to fit. I didn't tape the end of my wire, so I'm, risking it all. I think I'm going to throw a little bit different shaped bead as spacers on the ends here so that you could see the difference. Hey, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad you're with us. We are working on some keychains, some bracelets to help with different breathing exercises, to help with stress. So we were just talking about what kind of situations it helps us to kind of take a minute, breathe, and count that we might encounter. So I'm doing the exact same process with this bracelet that I did with the first one, right? Thank you. So I know for sure we've got 5 vets in here, which is wonderful. And I know for sure that 2 of us are living a life with PTSD and working on some anxiety issues. I'm not calling out names. But I can tell you that giving yourself tools like this, breathing exercises, giving yourself permission to take a moment when you're anxious or you're hurting is incredibly valuable. It's very empowering to know that you can do that. Yes, I am from the United States. CreatiVets is a not-for-profit out of the United States, and they work with veterans, helping them to tell their stories and heal through arts and music. And I volunteer every Thursday for them. Normally, you can find me on Mixer under MrsOEF 5. But tonight, yeah, I'm volunteering for a nonprofit that's in the United States. And I'm in the United States as well. Right smack dab in the middle of it. So I'm just pulling this wire through, No, I'm not, because I didn't attach my clasp here. Oh, I see. So, you're coming through on Mixer. So Mixer does have creative streaming. I'm actually streaming right now on Mixer, Twitch, Facebook, and YouTube. So I'm across all 4 platforms. But Mixer does have creative streaming, and CreatiVets, this channel, streams on there with several different professors that teach songwriting, arts, all kinds of stuff. But yeah, Mixer has several creative streamers, as does Twitch. They have a really big creative community. And the great thing about it is that you can watch games, you can play games all day long. And if you want to learn something about art or participate in that way, you can do that too. So it's kind of cool. I absolutely agree, Johnny and Heidi. I'm glad you're in the stream. CreatiVets has a songwriting class that Rick puts on. As a matter of fact, I believe he's going to be on, Rick's on tomorrow at 1 p.m. Central. Just phenomenal. It's amazing. I have learned so much about songwriting from watching him. Garrett has a stream where he does artwork, lots of sketch work, and some comic stuff. We've got a lady that does pottery. There's just all kinds of outlets for people to have the ability to learn some of the arts and work on telling their stories that way, work on healing that way. Yes, yes. The lockdown workout in the morning is fabulous. Yes. You're welcome. Yeah, I'm happy to answer questions. Happy to answer questions. Okay, so we've got our second one, right? So I'm going to pop this one on. I'm trying to make these a little androgynous so that, you know, a man or a woman could wear them. I have quarantine nails. You may have noticed that they're incredibly long, and I'm going to struggle with this clasp. Absolutely going to struggle with this clasp. Like, I'm thinking it's not going to happen. So, pretend this is on my wrist. You can take a sandwich break. I can't take a sandwich break, but you can take a sandwich break. So if this were on my wrist, I would be counting out these beads, right? So we've got 4 in, 7, I'm going to hold my breath, 8, I'm going to breathe out, right? And if this is on my wrist, there we go. All day long, I can literally just go like this, move all the way through that. Nobody watching me has any idea what I'm doing. I'm just taking that little point of clarity, right? Taking that breath. So that's what that looks like. How am I doing? I'm doing great on time. I'm doing great on time. I cut it really close last time, so I was worried about it. Oh, thanks so much. I gotta put my glasses back on to read your name from Twitch there. Danth Mask, I hope I'm saying that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm glad you're enjoying it. So since we've had new people join us, I'm going to go ahead and make one of these little keychains again, right? Because we've got time to do that. And demonstrate that. I'm just going to go through it real quickly. I know a lot of you have already seen it, right? But I am told over and over again that it's relaxing just to watch me sit and do this. So it's not a bad thing to just sit here and enjoy and watch me make stuff, right? That's okay too. However you got to take your breaks, take them. So I'm going to pop this on the wire. I'm going to bend it into a diamond shape. I'm going to wrap this wire around itself, just like I did before. Make sure this can reach. So, thank you. I appreciate that, Outlaw. So, everyone should have saw this. Veterans can apply to participate in CreatiVets programs here. So pre-COVID, CreatiVets has classes. Got a really cool songwriting class and a bunch of different activities. So if you go to CreatiVets.org, you're going to see a bunch of information on that. And while you may not be in a situation where you can take advantage of that right now, that doesn't mean that you won't be able to take advantage of it later. So I would really encourage the veterans that are watching to check out that website, right? So it's creativevets.org, spelled exactly like it is there on your screen. And see if there are things there that interest you, that you would be interested in participating in. See if there's ways that you think would help you to tell your story, right? Is it songwriting? Is it art? Is it collage? Is it sketching? Is it a comic book? Is it writing? Is it beading? Is it jewelry? What's going to help you tell your story? What's going to help you process through and be able to talk about your life experiences, right? And that's a big part of what CreatiVets does. Yes. You're talking about the box breathing? I can. So, box breathing is a 4-4-4 technique. 4-4-4-4. 4 fours, just like a box. 4 sides to a box, right? Thank you, Outlaw. So, in box breathing, you're going to, let me get this pulled up here. You're going to breathe in for a count of 4. You're going to hold for a count of 4. You're going to breathe out for a count of 4. And you're going to hold for a count of 4, right? 4, 4, 4, 4. Just like the 4 sides of a box. So, if I have a keychain with 4 beads on it, right? Oh, that's fabulous. That's on Mixer. I don't know how many viewers we've got across all the platforms, but that's wonderful. It's wonderful. So 4 sides of a box. I breathe in for 4. I hold for 4. Breathe out for a count of 4. And I hold for a count of 4. Usually with box breathing, you want to do that 3 or 4 times, right? Get some oxygen going to your brain, get some little clarity. So it's nice to make a real simple keychain, 4 beads, 4 stones on it that you can put your hands on. And you can use it just like I did, right? 4 in, 4 hold, 4 out, 4 hold, or you can count it through each time, right? So breathing in, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding, 1, 2, 3, 4. Breathing out, 1, 2, 3, 4. Holding, 1, 2, 3, 4. You can use that however you want. It's your breath. It's your time. You get to do it however it works for you, right? So there's our little keychains. You can literally just put these together with a piece of wire. These are stones. These are agates. And a keychain, a key ring. Just a regular old key ring. We made bracelets for diaphragmatic breathing. That's a count of 4 to in, 7 to hold, and 8 out. Right? You can do the same thing with keychains. For diaphragmatic breathing, you can give yourself a placer for each one, right? So I'm going to breathe and hold on to this. I'm going to hold and hold on to this. And then I'm going to breathe out and hold on to this one. So you can use whatever you have. I mean, you can count with your fingers, right? However you want to do it. You guys, that's great. That's great. I'm glad somebody's watching us. I hope it helps. I hope it helps. So, we've got just about 30 more minutes together, you guys. Should we make a few more of these little box breathing keychains? And then I'll pop those up on Etsy for any veterans through CreatiVets that want to buy them at shipping only. I can do that. Or I can send them out to CreatiVets and they can pass them out if they want. We'll figure that out. But yeah, I think I'll make a couple more of those. They're just so quick to make, right? It takes almost no time. So I had asked earlier if you guys can think of any times when it would be good to use these techniques. And it occurred to me as I was watching your responses that holidays would probably be a great time. Holidays either with the family or holidays without your family. Probably a good time. Those are high stress times. I don't think this is long enough. In the car when somebody cuts you off. It's a great time to breathe, right? Bracelets. You want me to make more bracelets or another bracelet while we're waiting? Or while you're viewing, I guess. So another option for the top of this keychain. Hey, thanks, Awesome Ketchup. I appreciate that. All of those embers, all of those sparks go to help out CreatiVets, which is a wonderful thing. Appreciate it. So another option, if you don't want to make the little loops like what I've been making, is you can take this wire, grab both wires, I'm not going to get them to bend the way I want. This is my least favorite type of wire in the world. So I'm going to grab both wires and I'm going to twist this, right? Just like a twist tie. If you want a quick and easy way to do this for you at home, it's like a twist tie. Just going to spiral this all the way up. You're going to take your, I'm going to cut these ends off so I don't catch myself with them. Hey, one of them didn't fly across the room. Then I'm going to take this and I'm going to spin this around, right, in a coil, just like this. And I can put that on a keychain. You want a really simple, thanks for the sparks. You want a really simple way to do that for you, okay? Because like I can shake this all day long, it's not going anywhere, it's not gonna break. I will tell you, aesthetically, it's not the prettiest. Take a look. It looks a little messier, right? More sparks, more sparks. Thanks, y'all. But very functional. So if you're uncomfortable or have not made jewelry before and you want an easier way to do this, that technique works great, right? Making this for yourself. Throw this on a little keychain and it works great. So that's an option. All right. So Outlaw said another bracelet. Should I make a different kind? Make a different length? How about some, hey, look at that. How about some red jasper? We'll use some red jasper beads and make a quick bracelet out of that. You guys are great, thank you. Appreciate all the support, I really do. So many sparks and embers and hosts and everything else, you all. This is great. Love it. All right. Got our red jasper out here. I love this stone, so pretty. We'll do this red jasper, and then as our spacer beads, I think I would like to do something just a little bit different. Let's see what these look like. That'll look nice. You can't see that, but I can. All the sparks. Sparks on sparks on sparks. All right. Well, this is a great place to do it, right? Those sparks and embers help out CreatiVets. It's a great thing. Twitch Bits helps out CreatiVets. It's a great thing. I don't know on Facebook or YouTube if you have the option to support in that way. I think it's just on Mixer and Twitch, but I'm not real sure. The cool thing about this red jasper, it's probably hard to see in that camera, but there is a lot of color variation. That's really, really pretty. No reason why something useful can't be pretty, right? Because that's always a good thing. Yeah, I do too. This particular group of it has a lot of, obviously the reds and creams and blacks in it. It's really pretty. Just a donation option. Yeah, I didn't think that they had bits or embers or anything like that. Or you can go straight to CreatiVets and donate should you want to. That is also an option. They are a 501c3, not for profit. Well, I got carried away there, didn't I? Put too many on there. Okay, Lady Birdie, have a good night. I appreciate you coming in. And thanks for all the sparks and everything. I'm going to pull these off and put a couple of spacer beads so that we can see that we have the 4, 7, and 8. So that we know what our count is, right? And I think I'm just going to use this same bead, only smaller, on both sides. And then continue around with the red jasper until we've got our full length. So it's not going to be perfectly even on both sides, pattern-wise, but that's okay. We don't really need it to be. We need it to look good and be functional, right? So we'll get this done. And let's see where we're at on length. I think just a couple more here. Should do it. And then we're going to pop that clasp on here. And this one will be done too. Nice timing, Outlaw. That worked out great. Love it. I love it. All right, you can put this into the clasp on, loop this wire back through our crimp tube. We're gonna use those crimping pliers again. Crimping pliers are very specific. They're shaped very specific. Can you see that? No, there it is. See that shape? Because it's two parts, right? So I'm gonna crimp it on that first one. And I'm going to come back, crimp it on the second one, and it locks little metal teeth right into that wire and holds it in place so nothing moves. And then I'm going to feed the tail of this wire, that extra piece of wire that's bent on itself, back through these beads so that it doesn't poke anybody. And then cut off any excess that I have. Just like that. Looks good. Put a crimp tube on this side. Do the same thing over here. Feed this tail through my beads. And then this side is longer. So I'm going to pull that through, get everything situated where I want it. Make sure we've got that tight. And pull that all the way through. And then we're going to crimp this side too. Cut this excess wire off underneath here so it never touches anybody. And we've got another little bracelet. All right, so this one's got a 4 count, 7, and 8. So you can do your breathing exercises right along with that. You do it while it's on your wrist, or you can do it holding it in your hand. Or you can connect this to a keychain, connect it to your pants, connect it to whatever you want, and just carry that around, right? Let's get an up-close view of that. So that is an amber striped art glass and a natural red jasper. So looking at it, no one would ever know that this was a breathing tool, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah, dark golden saw, I can do that. All right. So does anybody have any questions? Anybody have any thoughts about this process? What do you think about using those techniques? Do you think that one of them would be better for you than the other? Do you think one of them is more useful? Do you think that box breathing's easier to remember than the other one, maybe? What do you think? Think having a bracelet or a keychain, something that you can hold in your hand, would help you with those exercises? Thanks for following. I appreciate it. Definitely appreciate the follows. So you think you'll use box breathing more before something happens, like to prepare for something that you already know is going to be a little bit stressful for you or make you anxious? And the diaphragmatic breathing is better if you're already in the middle of it. You're probably right, and that may be how you can use both of these techniques kind of as you go through different circumstances. One may work better for you in one circumstance, and one may work better in something, you know, a different time. Definitely it's a box breathing, for me personally, is a great way for me to relax before bed. It's something that I use when I'm like getting ready to relax, because it's very calming to me. So I use it a lot less often when I'm in a stressful situation, because I'm using it before that ever happens. So yeah, I agree. Hey, Star Seeker, welcome. So that's definitely a great way to use that. So I'm going to set this out. We're going to make one more of these real quick before we go, of this different style that looks like this. And I cut some little pieces of wire. Not with those, I'm not. Just going to cut 3 pieces, about 2.5 inches long. Right. Yeah, so with CreatiVets, I usually am scheduled to stream from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. On their schedule, it's Central Standard, so it's 3 to 5, but same time. So yeah, that's my normal schedule on Thursdays for 2 hours. Yep, I will show up in past streams. Matter of fact, if your schedule doesn't permit being able to see, like Rick, who does the songwriting, or the lockdown workout in the mornings or stuff like that, then you can always watch that as a past stream on Mixer. You can also watch it on YouTube and on Twitch. I don't believe that Facebook has that option, but I know that the other 3 do. Yeah. So this particular one is for a technique called diaphragmatic breathing, right? So that's where you're going to breathe in to a count of 4, hold your breath for a count of 7, and breathe out for a count of 8. And while you do that, you want to make sure that your stomach is rising, right? You don't want to breathe shallow. You want to breathe nice and deep. And what that does is it really expels all that old oxygen out of your lungs, brings in lots of new oxygen for your brain, and helps you process and get a little bit more clear. So that type of technique is used for people who struggle with anxiety, PTSD, emotional issues, just getting through your day. You know, if you're annoyed and you need to take a breath, that's a great breath to take. And that practiced counting, a lot of times it's easier if you have something tangible in your hand, right, to do it with. If you're in the middle of a stressful situation where you've got a lot of big emotions going on, right? So you're angry, you're super happy, you feel overwhelmed by what you're feeling, that is a great breath to take. That 4, 7, 8. 4 in, hold for 7, out for 8. Really making your stomach fill with air, right? Really expelling it and making your stomach come back down. The other breathing technique that we talked about today is a box, right? Box breathing. And that works. Why can't I grab the right tool? I am so struggling. That is a 4-4-4-4 technique. You breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, you breathe out for 4, and you hold for 4. And you want to do that one about 3 or 4 times. It's a technique that the Navy SEALs use. Helps you, again, clarity, helps push oxygen to your brain. So when your heartbeat is rising, or you know you're about to walk into an anxious situation, that's a great way to calm yourself. It's extremely effective. It's also a good way to help put yourself to sleep, to calm yourself after a long day, right? So a lot of times for people, particularly if you have PTSD, I find anyway, it's easier to do that if you have something to hold in your hands, right? So whether that's a keychain or you're wearing a bracelet that you can count from, it's easier to hold something in your hand and think about it. It brings you back to the present, right? So I am here right now and I'm going to take a breath, and it makes it purposeful and you're mindful of it, and it really helps you to calm. So, yeah. So if you're triggered with PTSD, part of what happens is, of course, your hypothalamus is triggered. You're throwing adrenaline through your system, and it becomes very hard to think clearly, right? So a couple of things happen. You either react, fight, flight, or freeze, or you get caught in a loop in your head, right? Where you're replaying something in your head. So having something tangible that you can touch, right? Anchor yourself to here. Having something tangible where you can either count out loud, or if you're in a public place and you can't, then you're just breathing and playing with your keychain. It's not obvious, right? So sitting here and going, okay, so 4 in, hold for 7, let out for 8, so I can immediately feel my body change. I can feel the muscles in my back change as I take those breaths every time. Very, very, very useful, right? Box breathing, right? So that 4 in, hold, 4 out, hold, 4 in, hold, 4 out, hold, right? You moving through those. That's a routine where you're going to do 3 or 4 breaths. And as you do it, for me personally, okay, as I do that, I'm just feeling what's in my hand. So I'm not going through this loop in my head, right? I'm refusing to see it. Okay, we're not doing that right now. Right now, right this second, I am taking a breath. A lot of times for PTSD for me, it isn't a go day by day, it's a go minute by minute. I need to deal with this second. I need to deal with this minute right now. This is all the time I have right now. So using breathing techniques like that really helped me to get clear quickly. But more than that, it helps me to start to process what happened in the first place. So what part of my story did I just go through? What memory did I just experience? What do I need to process? I can start to clearly ask myself those questions and then start to work through, because I have enough oxygen in my brain and I have lessened the amount of adrenaline in my body that I can actually focus and do it, and it becomes productive. I get somewhere. I don't get trapped in a loop. Instead, I use a box to process out of that loop. So hopefully that helps you guys. It's been invaluable to me. Like I said, I use these techniques every day. Several people I know use these techniques every day. So speaking strictly from personal experience, not a clinician, but I can tell you it's changed my life. So hey, thanks for the sparks. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right, so I'm going to scooch over here. We're going to start to wrap this up. You'll have questions. Ask me. So, coming up tomorrow, we do have Rick with songwriting. He's amazing, right? Some of the other things that you guys can see on CreatiVets, I know we talked about it a little bit, but I just wanted to show you, like on the schedule. So there was Zach with shading techniques. He did this really cool with just regular Bic pins. He did his whole face. Like it was super cool with these straight line shading techniques. Garrett does a bunch of different stuff. Luke does that morning workout, that lockdown workout that a couple of people on here had talked about being great. Yes, all of these people can be seen on CreatiVets. If you go to creativets.org/live, you're going to see this schedule. So you'll know exactly what's coming up and what you can see. And of course, on Mixer and Twitch and YouTube, you can watch past streams as well. Facebook Live, you can't, to my knowledge anyway. I don't know if they've changed that. Yeah, he has a lockdown workout. When I watched it, it was him and I believe it was his wife. There was another lady there, and it was really, really good. Like really good. It was okay for me not to be able to work at the level that he worked at, right? And it was really, really great. CreatiVets itself is an organization that works to support veterans and help them to heal through art and music. And it's a 501c3 nonprofit. They, pre-COVID, of course, had a bunch of face-to-face courses. And the reason I wanted to volunteer for CreatiVets and do this is because even though the world stopped, CreatiVets decided not to leave people alone. And I wanted to be part of that. So, yes, I know, I can't stop talking about it, right? I get like that when I'm excited about stuff. So, they do have a Discord as well, and that's on this same link, this creativets.org/live. You can find their Discord there too. All right, so thank you guys so much for being with me tonight. I do appreciate your support. Certainly hope it was helpful to you. And I will be back personally next Thursday, but of course you can see all these other great people, and I'd really encourage you to do that because they're just amazing. All right, so you guys have a good night, and if I don't see you on Mixer, I'll see you next week. All right, thanks so much.
We are a nonprofit that's helping combat disabled veterans heal through the arts and music. Our art programs in Chicago and California help combat disabled veterans tell their story through art. We enroll them into the best art institutes in the country. We pay for their tuition, their housing, their food all 3 weeks so that they can finally tell their story through art. We also bring combat disabled veterans to Nashville, to places and rooms like this here at the Grand Ole Opry, to tell their story for the first time with pro songwriters all about the things that they went through that they never been able to talk about before. These programs have been extremely successful in helping veterans combat their PTSD. Right now, CreatiVets has more veterans applying for our programs than we do funding. So if you can go to creativets.org and donate, we would appreciate it.